So as a TokuTuber, there's a question I get at least once a week, and it's, Hawk, what Kamen Rider series would you adapt for a US audience? My jokes of fan casting US Kamen Riders aside, I really want to put my thinking cap on for this one. I want to get a series from the past 50 plus years that I don't have to change too much, and I think would directly translate really well, not only in American television screens, but American toy stores. Because that's what all this is, right? It's one gigantic toy commercial, and baby, we gotta make that cash. Marco Satsu did a good video on this a few weeks ago where he touched on how Toei likes to license these shows out. So keeping that in mind, like, we have to make money off the toys, because considering how much of a business failure Dragonite was, toys is the only way we're gonna make this happen. Toys are the name of the game, but if you would have asked me this a few months ago, I would have answered I know, it's mind-blowing, but 01 is probably one of the best picks because it has a girl rider right from the start. You're opening up a whole 50% more audience when you have a heroine, and I think that's something that Western brands have pushed more in the last decade, is to have these female heroines in boys, traditionally boys shows right from the start, and pushing them together and showing them right up there. You've got Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Captain Marvel, and Thor if we're going to more recent incarnations of the Avengers. On top of that, 01 also deals with a currently relevant theme of artificial intelligence. It uses artificial intelligence as a metaphor for racism and oppression, and while I think a lot of those points can be changed to be conveyed better, I also think the US audience is more kind of willing and able to have that conversation than a not Western audience is ready for. But I also mentioned toys. What about the toys of 01? Of course, everything in 01 has a sleek iPhone Apple futuristic feel to it. Progress keys, you got lights, you got sounds, they're very sleek. The 01 driver, one of the best looking drivers that we've had in probably the past decade, honestly. And the suits, how could I forget the suits? Simplistic, sleek, and beautiful. They would look perfect next to any other action figure, Marvel, DC, G.I. Joe, you name it, on Target shelves everywhere. But after thinking more on it, there is one better series than 01, and it's not because 01 has these overarching problems with bringing it over and adapting it. It's just one series does it a whole lot better. Hey, sorry to interrupt. This video is sponsored by myself and my Fourth Wall members. Fourth Wall is a website that I run my memberships out of now. You sign up there, you get early access to videos, early access to all my new merch, and also there's a higher tier for like gym pics and cosplay photo shoots that people were asking for. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff and want to support me a little more, go ahead and sign up in the link in the description for my Fourth Wall memberships. Thank you very much. And I bet you're thinking, oh, it's gonna be build. He says build for everything. He's got the build cap on. It's always build, but no, it's not. I honestly think that robot jellies and full bottles would look terrible on store shelves, and they don't really do anything. So build, I'm sorry, out. No, the new deity of Kamen Rider US adaptions, you probably guessed it, it's Geats. At the time of filming this, we're only at episode 34 of Geats, so spoilers up until then. But let me ask you a question real quick. Come here. Have you ever heard of Fortnite? Ah, Fork Knife, the humble video game that started with just saving the world. You build things, you save people from zombies, you shoot those zombies, and you get a lot of points as you do it. But then, because of greed and power, it became this gigantic multimedia phenomenon that just keeps on growing and keeps on doing these gigantic pop culture crossovers, and it's probably the biggest thing to anyone under 14 years old, and it was probably the biggest thing to you if you were under 14 years old in the last 10 years, because Fortnite can't be stopped. They just introduced Star Wars into Fortnite. They had Thanos, and they had Spider-Man swinging around, just shooting things from his... Fortnite is big enough to where if I have to explain what this game is to you right now, then welcome back from not living under a rock for the past 10 years. If you have, real quick, Fortnite is a battle royale. It's you versus every other player, and the last one standing wins, and that's the territory that Kamen Rider Geats just ventured into in episode 33. And it's nothing new. We were hearing that Kamen Rider Geats was inspired by Fortnite since before we even knew what the show was. But up until this week, it was Save the World, and now we're in Battle Royale, baby. What did I say about 01? You want a girl? Oh, boom, Kurama Neon, right from the start, the best girl. Kamen Rider Nago, looking for genuine love, and will she find it in the West? Sakurai Keiwa, the golden retriever best boy, just walking around with these big wondrous eyes like, oh, I just want the world peace, and I just want the world to be perfect. And then you got the main boy, Ukyo Ace, who is basically Tony Stark. That is the most relatable thing I can say about him. He is Tony Stark. He's got a plan for everything right off the bat, and yes, we find out why later, but right from the start, he's that hero character that every kid wants to be. There's no situation that he can't handle. Shonen protagonist to a T. You like Super Saiyan God mode? Bitch, check out Laser Boost. But I'm gonna say something that might be a little controversial here, and don't take it the wrong way. The characters of this show do not matter, because in adapting them, we can pretty much change anything we want. I just really like the main trio of Geats, the Tricky Trio, as Stream has aptly named them. But the real differences in Geats are a couple of things. One, and this is a big one here, stick with me, is that the DGP and Geats as a series is the perfect series to have the biggest, most diverse cast possible. Sure, what we know now of the Desire Grand Prix is that it takes place in one specific era at a time and they move from place to place. But what about the sponsors? What we know of the sponsors is that they're from the future, and that everyone from the future is designed to a T. Everything from their life, how they smell, what they look like, how long they live, is designed before they are even born. Which means the cast from the future could literally be anyone, look like anything, and wouldn't it be interesting if they didn't want to look like that at some point in the series? You can tackle these very real issues that Western brands have been doing for years now, but it's got these nice little candy-coated glaze of like, hey, look, it's Fortnite. And that's not even mentioning the stories and lessons you can have with the players of the DGP and their final wishes and the morals that go into that, and all those morals clashing because only one of them gets their wish granted at the end of this. Geats doesn't touch on it too much, but it's kind of fascinating that in the second episode, there is a player who dies in the game, losing his final wish of healing his sick son. And the person who wins that Desire Grand Prix, his wish is to be family with the DGP staff. That's it. Something that doesn't really make sense to the rest of the players who are literally doing this to change their life. But I don't think Geats does a bad job of it. Like I said, we're not going to change too much when bringing this over for a US adaptation. I just think diversity in the cast will go such a long way in making this world, this universe, feel so much larger. My other reason is exactly what we talked about before, and that is the toys. This baby is the Desire Driver. And come close, let me ask you another question. Come here. Have you ever heard of lightsabers? Star Wars hit the absolute jackpot with lightsabers because everybody wants a personalized one. And that's the same thing for this. This driver is 3 different parts. You got the two friggin' raise buckles. You got the one ID core, and then you got the base. You can customize this to no end. And in 2023, where everybody wants to be individual, everyone wants to show off that individuality, this is the perfect toy to sell on American shelves to kids. The buckles are interesting enough on their own, but paired with the Desire Driver, you get the lights, you get the sounds, and everything going. And I think the ID cores is where it really succeeds, because these don't change anything. There's no unique sound or light for the ID cores. You just set it in and it says entry right off the bat. This right here is who you are. It's what Kamen Rider you want to be. Everybody wants to be a Kamen Rider. And I think like a make your own ID core kit would go a hell of a long ways. For my Star Wars nerds that are still here, this is your Kyber Crystal. Geats just has this perfect mix of things that American pop culture is eating up right now in 2023. Cool protagonists with a little bit of socially awkward thrown in, a story about changing the world and the systems you are trapped in, and an overwhelming push for individuality and uniqueness. Just injected into my veins. Right now at episode 34, there is not much I would change besides what I talked about to adapt Kamen Rider Geats for a US audience. But I know you've thought about this question. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If money wasn't an issue, what Kamen Rider series would you adapt for a Western audience? And please don't say your OC.